Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have Talons and we're going to bring you another makeup transformation video of Alice in Wonderland 2.0 series I'm working on. And this is the most highly requested character I think in this series. It is the Queen of Hearts. Of course, I'm going to do a gruesome or just totally different twist. That's what I've got. How do you guys do this? Use these talons today. I'm so excited. I made a prop for this one as well. So let's get started. Oh, and I'm going to be talking about the history of fairy tales we, of course, grew up with. And today's video is going to be about Rapunzel. If you don't know about Miss Rapunzel, where have you been? She is one of those queens. Oh my gosh, that is one of the oldest fairy tales, probably one of the first ones I grew up with, that a lot of people grew up with. She's trapped in a tower by an evil witch with long flowing hair that grows down from the actual tower to the ground, not just like her height of like 5 foot whatever, how tall she is, but from the top of a tower to the ground. Sickening locks that I wish I had. Like, her hair was so long that by the time she was a teenager, it grew to the ground and that people could use it as a rope by that time. Like, that's how crazy it was. I'm just flattening my eyebrows down because we are going to do some looks on the face with a white-ish face base to paint the queen. I'm not about the blue eyeshadow Tim Burton look, but I'm going to still make it some type of Tim Burton look because the Evil Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland definitely gives me red, gold, and black vibes with some white, more than the blue eyeshadow look that Tim Burton slapped on her. Just my opinion. But this version of Rapunzel is written in most of the books that we know. But you know, there's a different version. The true-ish one, the history behind Rapunzel, is dark. A warning for you, it's dark, twisted, crazy, sad, depressing, all the things. Just warning you now. And no, I'm not naked, of course. I have a color that's gonna like cover most of my skin, so we'll just see. But you know the traditional Rapunzel, she was saved by a prince from the tower who let her escape from the evil witch. And they fell in love and lived happily ever after. Yeah, that's the one we heard. I'm so not used to claws that I had to have Corey, my boyfriend, help me put this wig cap on off camera because it's ridiculous. How do y'all do this? I know some of you wear claws with wigs. Drag queens have superpowers because I cannot. They're artists with superpowers. And heels? I can't. The amount of white makeup and paper plates I've been using in this makeup series is insane. I made today's prop that I'm gonna put on my neck later out of paper plates as well. My boyfriend was like, why don't you film that too? I'm like, who wants to figure out how to make collars and face things out of paper plates other than me? Maybe people do, but I don't know. Anyways, in 1600, the first written story of Rapunzel was made. This is an Italian folklore where Rapunzel was known to be sold to an ogre instead of the witch. What? When she was a baby because her mother stole parsley from a garden. That's a crazy offense. Like, it's not even a crazy enough offense to get your child baby taken away from you. What is this? In my opinion. Ooh, I forgot I was gonna do red. So since his mother did this crazy crime, which isn't that crazy, she was probably just trying to feed her children and herself. Her punishment for this crime of stealing from a garden was that she had to give away her firstborn, which just happened to be Rapunzel. Just the injustice alone is sickening. Not in a good way. So after she was stolen as a baby, she was set in a tower for her entire life. And then there was the Grimm fairy tales from the Grimm brothers version, which was in 1857. And this tale gets even darker. She's never seen a man before in her entire life, so she was seduced by a boy. By a prince, perhaps. Definitely was a prince. And she got pregnant. Somehow in this story, the prince goes blind and wanders aimlessly through the forest after this said pregnancy. And Rapunzel has to give birth to twins all alone by herself. Can you imagine just discovering what boys are and then you have to give birth to twins? Insane. But after going through hell and back, they eventually find each other again. I'm guessing said boy that knocked her up after she gave birth to these twins, like, hey, here's your children. But is he still blind? Never mind. I don't want to be offensive. But the original story apparently of Rapunzel was a combination and a version of all of these combined. And it is definitely most positively the darkest one of them all, unfortunately. Because in this version, instead of an evil witch, in the version that we all mostly know that's most popular, trapping her in a tower, it was actually her very own father that trapped her in the tower. And this father was so controlling over Rapunzel that it eventually led to her death. And let's get started with this story. Oh my gosh. The year was 1275 CE. The man's name was Jacobus. He recorded this story of this young woman named Barbara who lived in Italy. She was a beautiful girl and her father was an extremely rich merchant. And just like today, one's reputation has a lot to do with their business. So her father wanted to stick to the status quo and keep practicing his traditional pagan religion that was really popular in time in Rome. I kind of like this smeared bit of the red right here. And this merchant father knew that his daughter was quite beautiful. So beautiful, in fact, that there were men lining up to meet her and greet her, and some of them were princes. But the father was very strict to where he wanted to interview the men before they even met his daughter. But this made his daughter Barbara very, very angry. And they had a huge argument, her stating that she had free will, her father couldn't control her, and she wanted to choose her own man that she was going to marry. Makes sense, right? Understandable to me. And when her father would give her options of men that he chose himself, she decided to turn them all down. Queen. Honestly, I rebelled against my parents in similar ways, so I understand. I'm just powdering my under eye so that doesn't crease. She absolutely refused to cooperate in this process of choosing a suitor with her father and these men and princes. Since his daughter had to be alone while he went to travel for work, her father decided to throw his money at the problem since he was extremely wealthy and successful and rich. And by this he meant building a high top tower for his daughter to be hidden in, where she was never allowed to leave. I'm just getting some of this dark red lipstick by Ofra. This is the color Brickle to outline this heart to make it more clean edge. Her father saw that this way, when she was locked up in this tower, she had no other choice. She couldn't leave, and on top of it, I'm gonna do a splatter look like I did the other one because I love that eye effect so much. On top of it, she wouldn't meet any other men that he didn't approve of. Controlling dad much? Yeah. But since her dad was busy going out of town, like we said, and he needed this tower built, he hired construction workers from within the town that they lived in to come and build it for him. While they were constructing this tower and they had like the foundation of it that she could live in, he also hired people to deliver her supplies and food. And how this worked was she would lower a basket down the side of the tower and they would put the supplies in said basket and then she'd bring it back up. I'm guessing in a rope pulley system. It's not really specifically detailed, which I wish it was. I like all the details in my stories. Fairy tales and fantasies. We're doing little heart splatters as well, trying to be somewhat creative. My fingers hurt so bad from these talons and trying to do all the things with them. I just don't know how people do it. Good thing I only have one hand with it on, because imagine two, I would die of frustration. Now here's where the story gets a little bit spicy. In her said basket that they put the supplies in, I'm doing some contour, someone left her a book about Christianity. Again, this is back in Rome and they were pagan. Her father was pagan. I don't know if she was, but her father definitely pagan. But the book explained what Christianity was and she was highly interested, and at the time, Christianity was a highly considered a religious cult that Romans were trying to actually prevent from taking over. Now, isn't that interesting? Like I said, it gets dark and controversial. Hope I warned you about the controversy. It's happening. Considering how much or how little love and affection this girl received from her father, and how she was kind of abandoned and alone, and she was isolated up in this tower by herself, these Christian ideologies and messages about God highly impressed her. When the men who were doing renovations on the tower were working on the tower, they felt bad for her and they would let her climb down to speak to them without, Dad knowing. I'm just doing tones of cream gray contour to hopefully get some definition in these cheeks. Miss Barbara, Miss Rapunzel, she was so friendly with the workers on this tower that she gave them the say, or she wanted the tower to be designed a certain way. Like, she got these ideas of HGTV renovation shows already snapping in her brain, in her head, before even having cable TV. And she was like, listen, I want 3 windows on my tower in this position, and this way, so that the sunshine could come in and it could represent the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. Christian ideologies in her tower for herself, snatching it so that her father hopefully won't know and she can secretly keep these for herself. Instead of the original 2 windows that her father wanted in the tower. Let's add a little small 3rd one, please. Over there. Nate Burke is who? Barbara. Chipping Joan Gaines who? No, Barbara. Rapunzel. Snatching. They tried to say no, the workers tried, because they knew it would make her father extremely angry, and they work for him, not her. So they were scared if he found out that they were doing this behind their back, his back. So you know pretty Barbara Rapunzel in this story, she is beautiful, and so she somehow, I don't know how, convinced the guys, the workers, to do that to her tower. And while she was walking the ground, she decided to destroy her father's pagan idols, symbolizations. This is gonna be so hard, I might have to do this off camera. So that's done with the gold. But Barbara did that by destroying her father's idols, because in her Bible, it's considered a sin. Just putting some red eyeshadow down so that we don't crease as much. I'm gonna put this as like a light red lip. Ooh, loving the lip. And so once her father found out what she did and that she had joined an illegal religion according to paganism, he was furious, of course. I mean, this guy's always seems furious about everything, to be honest. At the time, practicing Christianity was considered a crime and could be punishable by torture of death as well. Considering that someone gave her the books, the workers knew her intention of the 3 windows. Oh, and she secretly got baptized as well, and the baptism became public knowledge. At this point, her father was considered to be harboring a fugitive in his tower that he paid for to be built. And even though it was his daughter, her father handed Barbara into the authorities. Some people say they will never know if he was truly heartless and cruel or if he was just obeying the law, handing her in by grabbing her by her long hair. So her father dragged her into the courts by her long hair, and when the judge asked her about her crimes, she answered that she only answered to Lord Jesus Christ, which again, Rome, they are not for Christianity or such behavior, religion, and practices, or people that even support it or speak on it. It was clear that she was guilty of being Christian no matter what her father said or did, or what her father did to try to control her. She was not going to stop fighting for her free will, so people began to torture her. Not pretty. I'm gonna use the biggest lashes I own. This is by Glam Cloth Beauty. I'll make sure to put the style in the description box and everything I use in this video in the description box. But people began to cut her skin multiple times with knives, and they even put salt in her wounds. Miss Barbara wasn't pretty. They also burned her skin as well. These lashes are so hard to put on because they're so large and in charge. I love them. And finally, when she was weak and near her death, her father decided to get a sword and chop her head off. Insane, right? After her death, Barbara became a matriarch in the Eastern Orthodox Church, and she also became a saint. Even if someone died defending their religion, there is a rule that they can't become a saint unless a miracle is happening or performs. The story of the miracle, the Christian version of this, is when her father was chasing her around with a sword, she was actually flying. She was flying the whole time, but why couldn't she escape sooner? When she was hiding away from her father, a shepherd in his field told her father where to find her, and he was immediately turned to stone. And that when they tortured her, there was a cover of fog that surrounded her that prevented her from feeling pain. And that lightning struck and killed her father immediately after he killed his daughter. Now again, this is the Christian version. But reading this Christian version, you may wonder what happened to her long hair. Because every picture of Barbara at the time, she had long hair that was long enough to use as a rope to drop down from a tower. There's a Persian book of Kings that tells of another story of Rapunzel with long hair, but that will be so long for this video. I'll put a link down to the articles that I read for this story. It's just so interesting that so many certain religions were so illegal to practice back then. And this is such a dark tale of Rapunzel. Alright, I'm actually gonna paint my hand and put a collar on and a wig, and I'll be right back. I wish I could snap with this, but I can't. And with that, I got a bloody hand. I got my collar that I made out of so many cards and my crown. Hope you guys enjoy this version of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland 2.0 with this new series. This was so much work, but so much fun to do. I love this version of the Queen of Hearts. I hope you do too. I know it's a little gruesome off with her head, but is she really dead? Her own rules kind of backfired at her. She kind of looks like a Valentine goddess evil queen living. These lashes are amazing. I'll put everything again down below in the description box that I used. I cannot believe the history of Rapunzel, how dark it is, and that her own father trapped her in a tower and cut her head off. What? This is so interesting, all the history behind the folklores that we grew up with. Subscribe for more videos like this. I do 2 videos a week every Monday and Friday here on this channel, and I do beauty makeups as well. Chit chat, get ready with me. I am so excited to do more videos in the future, and I hope you guys are excited to see them too. Oh, and I gained so many more subscribers this month than I have in a very long time, and I just want to let you guys know I appreciate it so much. I cannot even explain to you how much I appreciate you guys love the creepy stories, the histories, the oddities, and the, of course, cute, beautiful, and creepy makeups as well that are paired along with all these stories and rants and rambles, and I just appreciate you so much. I can't even explain, so thank you all. You can follow me on all the social medias. I'm on all of them and addicted, even TikTok. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you, creators. Bye.